Phil. Welcome back to my channel. Today's playlist is going to be themed around something interesting that's happened in my family recently. So we recently acquired our very first dog, a puppy, in fact, and nobody told me that it would be like taking care of a baby. Even worse, I mean, the constant going uh, out outside in the middle of the night and the messes in the house coming out both ends. And the thing will eat anything. I never thought that a dog would eat plastic and cables and leaves and grass and weeds and sponges and shoelaces and pieces of a crock and well, is it? But he doesn't touch his food. I don't know. They say to mix the food in with the new food. So should I get pieces of broken down chimney blocks and mix it in with the Alpo and see if he will eat it? I don't know what to do. I'm getting tired, and this is not the time for me to have given up coffee and things like that. Let me tell you, but it is what it is. But nonetheless, he, as everybody knows, a puppy, a dog brings absolute joy to a family. They're nothing but love, bundles and cuddles of there's a reason they call it man's best friend. They constantly want to be near you. They love you unconditionally, even when you've disciplined them. They don't get up in your face and say, I'm old enough to be. They're absolutely come right back to you and just smother your face with kisses and love all over you. And they want nothing but belly rubs. I tried to tell my wife I want the same, and she basically locked me in the doghouse. I don't know what that's all about, but that's neither here nor there. All right, today's list is all going to be themed around something along those lines. So the first album, because this is all about vinyl playlists that I recommend you get out and give a spin, would be this magical number from Kasey Musgraves. Of course, this is Deeper Well, her most recent output. And you may be wondering, well, I don't know of any songs on there that particularly are related to dogs. Well, the whole thing is when you're listening to this, you might think, and you're a new dog owner, you might think, man, this dog is such a loving dog, and I got it for such a great price. It's too good to be true, and that, of course, is the song on here, "Too Good to Be True." You might listen to that song and just be taken in by Musgraves' amazing vocals. One of my favorite country musicians who still retains that country roots, unlike some of those other pop stars that started off as country. But then the song Anime Eyes, and it just reminds you of when that puppy is just looking up at you, and now you understand where the term puppy eyes comes from. Those eyes, I can't understand how God put those on those things, because they just they melt your heart, and if they don't, you've got something wrong. So Kasey Musgraves' Deeper Well is the first album for our playlist for today. Of course, the next album on our playlist, well, you can't go wrong. You gotta go with the dog man himself. Of course, I'm talking about Hound Dog Taylor here in this fantastic album from due to Alligator Records, and this is Beware the Dog. That's right. When you're out in the backyard trying to clean up all those landmines, beware. That's something I learned the hard way. Going out there, and I thought I was maneuvering, making my way like through the fields of the some war zone, and sure enough, I would have had both legs blown off because I did not make it through most of the yard without taking some gifts back into the house with me. Thankfully, in our home, we take off our shoes at the front door. Or the back door, or the side door, whatever door, and we don't track through the house. But nonetheless, not fun cleaning those. But you got the old hound dog himself here, and the songs that I think are related to this, besides the name of the artist and the track, the title, the album name itself. Every time you got to get out there, it's like a daily. Before I was like every couple days, just let the Roomba do its job, but no more. Now I've got to actually get out that broom. I've got to dust off that broom and clean up dog hair, other things, dribble of food crumbs, whatever. Dust off the broom. Excellent track here on this album. And of course, there's just times when you just got to realize, man, all those clothes that stink like wet dog, the number of baths I give my dog more baths than I give myself. I don't understand where that's coming from. Maybe that's why people tell me I should take a shower. I don't know. But this Let's Get Funky. It reminds me of those dirty gym socks. You got Let's Get Funky or those dog bed blankets. He goes through 17 blankets a day. I don't understand what the heck the dog's doing. He takes them out, he chews, and don't ever use the nice hotel towels in the dog cage because they won't make it past the end of the day. And then you can just realize, at the end of the day, when you see that dog and he's looking at you with those anime eyes, it's going to be all right. It's all right is another fabulous track on this album that I highly recommend. That takes us into our third one. It reminds me of Charlie Brown when he opens up that bag on Halloween. He says, "Oh, rocks." Well, yeah, that's right. That's how you feel sometimes raising that puppy. And that gives us Aerosmith here with their fantastic album, Rocks. Many put it on the top of their lists for Aerosmith albums. And of course, you got some fantastic tracks on here. Top of the line is "Sick as a Dog." Whenever you're wondering why is that dog dry even, and then you see Niagara Falls coming out both ends, you can understand real fast that thing is sick from something he ate, probably ant poison. I don't not speaking from experience, right? Yeah. And "Sick as a Dog," of course, is on here, and then when that dog comes back in after he's gotten rid of all that poison inside of him, he just licks your face with a promise. And that, of course, is the track on here, Lick and a Promise. And then it's so great when you come home late at night and from a long day at work, and first thing you do, as soon as the door opens, the dog knows it's you, even though everyone else is home. He's barking and hounding, and he wants to play and wrestle and roll around and just shower you with kisses. And that is Home Tonight here on Aerosmith Rocks. The fourth album in my playlist that I highly recommend is going right in, and that is right here with Led Zeppelin and In Through the Outdoor. Sometimes you're like that dog, you're going right back out. You're tracking stuff into this house. Unlike me, who takes off my shoes, he doesn't. His paws stay on him, at least in America. And we got to make sure that Into the Outdoor is a part of this playlist. Now, of course, there's a couple of tracks on here. Hot Dog, right? How could you not know that song? Hot Dog, famous. Some people put this at the bottom of their list of the Led Zeppelin output. There is no bottom for me. Maybe there's a top, but a lot of it has to do with pressings more than the actual albums themselves. But then you've got All My Love, because that's all a dog wants to give you, right? Is all his love or her love. It's just fantastic. The amount of love that they give you is fantastic. And then topping it all off, you got to go with the double album, The Gatefold. You got to go with the Scorpions. And this, of course, is their Tokyo tapes from the 70s. Fantastic album. Now, you might be wondering, well, I don't know of any songs on there that pertain to this. And again, much like the Kasey Musgraves, I'm going to tie it all together with, well, of course they do Hound Dog. That's found on here as well. Then now you're not going to find Rock You Like a Hurricane or any of those kind of songs on here. You do find Hound Dog. Fantastic. This, by the way, is the Japanese press of this. And then at the end of the day, when you're finishing off this playlist, and you realize that little puppy growing to be an adult dog, they grow so fast. Don't they? I've had him just a month, and he's already put on 20 pounds. And we don't even feed him 17 meals a day, 16. I don't know, 16 or 17. And then, but you realize having that dog gives you that peace of mind. And of course, the track on here, In Search of the Peace of Mind. So that is my playlist that I recommend for this week. And maybe I stretched a little bit to try to connect the dots. There were plenty more. I do have Elvis albums and some others, but this is what I listened to. This is how I was feeling. This is what I was spinning. And I got up a couple others too that I think I'm going to do a review too of a new album from the Scorpions. Not new, old but new. Old but new, new but old. Isn't that a wedding thing? I don't know. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Remember, like and subscribe. Tell others about this wonderful channel. St. Patrick's Day is coming up if you're watching this in the beginning of March and of February. Anyways, thank you so much. I really appreciate the comments. I appreciate you subscribing. I'm almost at 400. Almost there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you realize the reason I do this is because I realize, much like I hope you do, that there is magic in those grooves. I will see you next time.